Well, I'm having a bit of a cold at the moment, so I just finished that other one where I've got just the dog, but not me in it. This was the one drawn out at the same time. I've never got putting myself in, and that's the composition there where I've superimposed this picture into it. I want to keep fairly loose with this one. I don't want to get too figurative. I want to still remain fairly contemporary with it, which isn't going to be easy. So, but equally, it's supposed to be a portrait of me. So to try and find the colours and keep this loose and produce a contemporary painting is not going to be that easy, but we'll have a go at it. We're not going to use rollers at all this time, just the brushes. There we go, then I'll use now the flat brushes. Let's start with the darks this time then. Straight in, immediately with darks. And where it's a bit warmer, we'll go a bit warmer. It's a bit warmer down that edge. I'm going to use some of this for crimson down that edge. My darks in first in this particular case. I really want to get some colour vibrating again and go a little bit more abstract again. Looking from my darks to my lights. I'm supposed to work up to my lights at the end, but I can't resist putting some of these lighter colours in now. Use this paint and really lather on some nice thick chunks of paint to enjoy myself here. Totally different way to painting the last painting I did for you. I need this move after the last painting. I just got too bogged down with detail really. It was getting too much like my old paintings used to be, and a little bit too figurative with this one. A little bit different. Lovely deep t-shirt. These heavy bodies have become very heavy body now. They're nice and thick. I don't normally put the darks in first. I usually put medium tones and then go for my darks, but this time I'm just going to really hammer these colours all over the place and just really work with as pure a colour as I can. The paint's had time to settle in this palette long enough now that it's a really lovely heavy body. Piles of paint into this. I might as well use this old paint up now and really enjoy it. Wonderful, wonderful colours. So good to use these lovely thick paints for this job. Really nice to build them up. These dark colours in. I just want to lose this white canvas again so I can see a bit of what I've got here. To get some of these greens in, work out what's where here. Before the dark comes on, I want to get the basic colours all into here. Slapping these colours. Heavy bodies. Put that thin work and then flat over lean. I'm really going to push the colours. We just begin to see what we're after in this lovely scene. Let's get my doggy in that purple now. We'll work on these colours. Just want to get rid of the to paint. I've got a painting I can see where things are. Not too big. Yeah, we got it small either. There we are, that'll give me a good base coat. I just want to go back and just do a little bit of lighter colours here and there. I'm reminding you to put the right colours in the right places, and things should start to just appear like they are. Now you start to see how it can work. Just by putting in these very strong colours in the right places. I want it to vibrate. I don't want to kill the colours this time. I'm going to really try and keep my brightness going on into this one. I think that's probably going to be about it for tonight. Don't do too much more on this. Fill away a little bit more, perhaps that's about it. There we are. Let's make the start back into colour again. Here we are on the second day of this work. See, I'm pushing the colours, I'm really pushing on this one. I'm trying to be a bit looser. What I do notice on a bigger painting is when you're close up it's hard to see if your drawing is correct. And I thought with the last one that the dog's head was a little bit small. Here, what I've done is, it's quite handy to do this, take a photograph of the thing, in which case I'm taking it from the film, and compare it to the original, and you can then quite quickly see the differences. In this case the head of the dog is too small. I've got to bring it up larger at the back. The length isn't too bad, but this whole area here has to be lengthened and under the chin. So the dog and the back, also there's some reshaping to be done here. In my own case, the portrait, not too far out in fact on that one, I should be able to bring that through, but I'm going to make these adjustments immediately so that I've got the drawing right, and then I can get back and get on with the actual painting and the colours and shapes. I think a slightly smaller brush now on this one, 1/4 inch flat, and let's see if we can just get the dog right. Not to be too thin with the paint, just want to get it right. There's slightly more of an angle there than it was originally here, I think. Just a little bit of work on the drawing at first to get that better. And then back of the head. Even then the head still seemed a bit small to me. I wanted to go larger still. Yes, now we're getting there. This is a much stockier head. Do you see the difference in that alone? Is made quite a... When you're close up to it with a big work like this, you can't always see it right now. Adding on there. That's it. Alright, I've got that drawing about correct, and the rest will be when I'm using colour again on that. We need to look at the back of it though, that's not quite right there. There we are, I've got the drawing I think about as I need it to be. I want to play with this very light turquoise and a little bit of very light magenta first of all, just to see if I can find the forehead colours there. These light bits on the shining in the hair. Come up from there. Darks in the right places. Always takes, I say, I'm going to be even more aware of the right colours in right shapes and right places now that we didn't. Seeing whether it's cool or warm is another difficult, because although there's a lot of blues, there's also quite a lot of pinks going on. Other flash pinks, but we'll see as we go on. That goes down to there, and that really is. Need to be painting straight onto this portrait, that's for sure. When we get back from it, the colours begin to work. Just zoom in a bit on that area while I'm doing it, otherwise you just can't see it, can you? how many details do we really need in something like this is the point. See if this does it. So, always the thing you think it is, it can be something next to it. So, with that in mind, we'll have a look at if this dark comes behind the face there. Right, well, we'll leave the portrait now and get back onto the painting itself because we're a bit behind on that. I don't want to make the face dead, that's for sure. So we've got to keep them clean and vibrant if I can. I've got muck in that already. I have to bring some warmers into the actual painting as well, I can see that too. Find these greens going on back here now in the face, of course. I start using it, they're going to be back in here as well. Watch them reflecting into the other things as well, hands. And this is where we start to play with, but I don't want to have too much detail. I want to just really find these colours if I can. Build up these beautiful yellow greens, and they're going to be pure yellow, I think, with the look of this. You can see now pushing these opposites in the colour circle, warm cools of colour hues, and lights against darks as well. We can really get the effect of this lovely light that's going on back here. The sun is just coming around the side. You see I've blocked in a lot of the other colours around now. I forgot that I was zoomed in on the portrait. Doesn't help, but we'll jump onto this and really slapping in these strong colours now. Pure greens and yellows to really build this up. Acrylics are definitely sinking, even though they're fairly heavy body. I can feel them, I can see them disappearing into the canvases after I put them on. I'm going to keep building up these lights today until the sun is too much behind me and I can't see enough what I'm doing, and that's just coming round the corner now. I've been at it for, what, 4 hours, 3 hours? A lot of times and you simply can't get enough paint on quickly enough. I'm very busy here now with this. I just want these cool greens in before I go back in with oranges and pinks and the other lovely colours that we need. Before I come back in with much stronger warm, bright warms into here. Really play things against each other now. I just want to go on to a bit of this up here before I carry on. And really bring out some of these much lighter. Let's take some of that very light magenta at first and just see what we get with that, because there is quite a lot of that going on in here. And then there's going to be a very bright orange as well. You see what lovely effect we're going to get. Hopefully will work. And there it isn't. If we see it somewhere else, we've got to do that there as well. We're talking about oranges. Well, yes, we're bringing in stronger reds and oranges directly down into here to really play those other warmer, cool colours off against each other. Up here too. So I'm just putting a few in so you can see the linkages going on between the face and the other colours around. And this is why I prefer normally to paint one thing at everything going at once, because we don't get these separated shapes. And I know that one colour is going to be relevant to another. Whereas painting it separately is always a bit risky. And now it's pushing that head back because these stronger, warmer colours are taking over and coming forward, which is what I wanted, so that these other ones drop back. To come on to these very light creams now. Going to the light, and we'll get light blue in a minute, this. using some bouncy end, a little bit of cadmium red, a wee touch of cobalt blue. Should be about ready to, talking about warms, to come back on some of these lovely warms here. I don't want to go into too much detail this time, just indications. Okay, let's go back to the cools and try some blues amongst these. I want to take some just direct cobalt at first with a little bit of white and just feel some of these lovely warm blues that are happening through here. And then we'll go really strong with the ultramarine up into here and just start to find these beautiful bits of branch that are happening. Not only that blue, but we'll go darker with the Prussian so that it doesn't look quite so ridiculous, and just bring in some of these lovely darks amongst that blue, cool darks to feel these branches that are behind here as well. It makes the lights look lighter too, which is going to be useful. We're building up so many lights, and I can put darks amongst these mid-tones now and bring those out a bit as well. I need to just get these branches and things worked in here, this little tree. I'm just going to work in a little bit of black now on the bottom here, just as my final darks to bring out some of these other delightful colours here. I don't know, if I'm this with a portrait like this, you tend to look at it so long you think that is right, rather than the thing you're working from after a while. You need to go away from it perhaps and come back and see, or photograph it and have a look at the photograph of the actual thing. We'll see. Don't overdo this colour though, it's useful, but it could take over if I'm not careful, and if I'm going to plonk it in everywhere. Put a few more warms back up in the background. I'm not quite happy with the warms, otherwise it's too separated out into not enough warms balancing it out. Let's take my medium brush and just because I might still make a lighter orange. I'm not quite happy with the very bright orange I've got, which I'm sure I can do better than. That's better. Just gives us that last sparkle to the picture that it needed. So I've put a couple more bits of fern down here against that light here, just to feel this feeling of the ferns coming through here. I'm not sure what I think. The colours are lovely. I don't like doing my own portrait. I don't think a lot of myself in that way, so. But it's been a challenge certainly to do. Well, there we are then. A much looser approach to the same subject. Very strong colours, pushing the tones. Which you prefer is completely up to your own taste. This is more what I was after, but they both have their own beauty, don't they? As you can see. Well, it's a windy, miserable day, and I've plastered on all of these colours. Need to move on. And what I've done is, again, gone back to taking photographs of the work and adding it next to the original to see where I'm out on it. I need to work on the dog's shape a little bit more. Need a wee bit more on the head here. On the back's just a little bit too sloping here. Need to go back to this person here and soften as well, get the angle more. The head's slightly further tilted. And the shape of the forehead here, there's a bit more forehead, wants to be a bit gentler, I think more green around this outside edge as well. We'll see what we can do. Let's start with the dog. A flat brush, I'd use a 1/4 inch for this. And I just need to take down this background a little bit. So that back has to be a bit gentler, it just comes down more of a slope like that. the main picture with it as well so I can see what's going on. Right, check to the top of the dog here. Let's have a look at that. Let's look at the other bits of shading on him. We have to find these colours, really find these colours. Let's leave doggy at that for the minute and back to the face, back to the portrait. I'm going to use a smaller brush there, I think, again. I want to change the composition up here as well as this tree and stuff. It's not really working as well as it should. I haven't used burnt sienna on it yet, so this is a good idea, I think, at the moment. Bring the greens back into this too in a minute. We've got to try and get these reflected colours working as well. These reflected colours. Glaring at you. Nice reflection there. So that's tree, for instance, the bigger brush. To look at this. Tree that's coming down here. A little bit. Right. Try and get a slight smile on his face, because he does have one occasionally. As right now, in fact. Touches of pure colour here and there. Really push this a little again. My arms are looking a little bit. I'd have to adjust the whole side of his finger by the look of this. Right, I think leave that till we can see it in daylight again tomorrow and continue then. What I've decided to do at the end of the evening is really come back in and hit it with a big brush, a nice big 2.5 inch. I've toned down the face, given it a glaze, and then whacked in with this big brush to bring these colours together. It wasn't too itsy bitsy, could be a bit brave at times, and I think that has made it. We'll see what it's like tomorrow. Hopefully I'm on the final stages of this now. I want to work at some of the lights around this area and maybe a little touching up of the portrait, but otherwise I don't think I'm going to be able to go much further with this. Okay, let's have a look back at this area here, because that's where I was trying to finish off. Little points of colour just occasionally that can make such a difference. We've got a couple of little shafts of light just coming down through here that are quite important. Now, very fine brush. A little bit of orange to put down the forehead of the dog here. Orange or pink, I'm not quite sure which. Having to know when to finish, it is finished as well, which would help. Well, there we go, that's the end of this painting. quite a challenge.